This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, another 30 minutes talking with us about the great industry of agriculture. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Farm Monitor. As the man said, I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Bergamy. Together again, and keeping with tradition, we've got another great show for you. Coming up, what's the one thing that can bring a community together? Well, a community garden, of course. Damon Jones reports from one in Henry County and how it continues to grow in popularity. Also on the program, after losing a loved one to suicide, he's become an advocate for mental health awareness in agriculture. Marshall Sewell on this growing problem and his message to those who may think there's no one they can turn to.
Yeah, very powerful message to say the least. Plus, physically, you won't be able to walk a mile in their shoes, but you can wear the jeans they help produce. How Georgia's own McLendon Acres caught the eye of global manufacturer Wrangler. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
Mark it on your calendar now, Tuesday, October 15th, the start of North America's premier farm show, Sunbelt Expo 2019. First things first, though, and that's the annual Field Day. John Holcomb was there and tells you what to expect in the coming growing season.
As usual, there is plenty to see at this year's Sunbelt Ag Expo Field Day. Between the crops, presentations, and networking, it's an event that producers really benefit from.
The Sunbelt Ag Expo Field Day is a great opportunity for the farmers throughout the region to come in and see the latest seed varieties, crop protection, soil fertility, irrigation and water management, precision ag as it relates to cotton, peanuts, corn, soybeans, grain sorghum, and Bermuda grass.
Although the growing season is well underway in the state, it's a great place for producers to be able to compare what they have back home to the latest varieties.
Farmers can come in and compare and contrast varieties in those crops. Start making planting decisions for 2020 as far as which varieties they might decide to plant, which crop protection scheme, and so forth. It's just a great opportunity to come in and learn new technology to enhance the economic and environmental sustainability of our family farming operations.
Aside from getting to see the latest research and technology, they also got to hear from University of Georgia agronomists that gave updates on how crops are doing around the state. Cotton seems to be doing well now, but didn't get off to the best start.
We've had a typical year in the fact that we've had some challenges and we've had some good things going. The crop, when we started planting, our planting season usually lasts about 6 weeks, and we started out really good and things went really bad quick. We had some struggles as far as getting the crop up when it got really hot and dry in late May, which caused a lot of problems for growers and ultimately probably left us with more replanted cotton than we typically see.
Since the early part of the growing season, though, it's looking good.
All in all, we're in pretty good shape. Of course, there's some places that are struggling for rain, but we've been able to catch showers pretty much throughout the year in some places, and I think the crop looks pretty good.
And as for peanuts, depending on if the crop is irrigated or not and where you are in the state, determines what kind of crop it is.
Well, this year I would say that we look better than average when you look at the irrigated crop for certain. We do separate those two because we have had some weather issues over the last month, and that has caused us to kind of separate how we segregate and how we're looking at them. For the most part, the irrigated crop probably looks as good as it's looked in 5 or 10 years, and we say that from just the fact that, boy, they just look wonderful.
Right now, they are expecting a good crop, but he says now isn't the time to take the foot off the gas.
So we have good yield potential, very little disease at this point. I would say we use this a lot. This kind of like football, you go into the locker room and we're halfway of the season, we got a winning record. And right now we do. I mean, this is a good crop when you look at the irrigated crop, but we still got about half the season to go. So it's all about how can we continue to get rain, how can we keep up with the irrigation, but also manage disease and insects and that kind of thing.
Reporting in Moultrie for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, food, fun, fellowship, and dirt. You'll find all four at the Heritage Park Garden in McDonough, where people from all walks of life gather together and share their passion for gardening. Damon Jones tells you how it's beneficial for those involved and the community as a whole.
Just a few miles south of all the hustle and bustle of Atlanta lies this community garden at Heritage Park in McDonough, where more than 15 gardeners from around Henry County work their plots growing everything from eggplant to watermelon. It's the kind of trial and error that makes gardening here so appealing.
But our philosophy in this garden is if the plant doesn't look like it's feeling real good or doesn't do like we want it to do, we get rid of it and plant something else. So you'll see some of that going on here where we just have pulled stuff up and planted something in its place. It's a show place.
Because of that, great care is taken to keep this garden in pristine condition, which is no easy task considering no pesticide is applied on any of the plots. However, it's hard work that is seen by thousands as it's used for a number of private events, educational sessions, and even field trips.
We try to keep it in good shape. We try to keep the weeds under control because there's a lot of traffic that comes through this garden. We get a lot of questions about gardening. You know, they come through. We've been watching to see what y'all are doing so we can do that at home.
Oh, it is just so wonderful. It is really a great pleasure to have one here. And everybody comes through. They come through to tours to see the many kids that come through, never seen an eggplant grow, never seen a corn or whatever we have here, and it's very much interesting.
One of the unique aspects of this garden is the gardeners themselves, where the experience ranges from novice to master gardener.
We do have a lot of fun. I learn a lot up here from these folks. Some of these folks have been gardening all their life, and then some of them never gardened before, so it's an experience of the experienced people helping the new people grow their stuff and keep it managed, and that's what goes on here at Heritage Park in the garden. We have fun.
While some of the fruits and vegetables grown here are donated to local food banks, the majority of it is eaten by those who grew it. Having that fresh, sustainable food year-round is one of the major benefits of taking up gardening.
I would tell them it's a very good benefit. It helps your family, and it just cut down the budget of your food, you know, buying and all like that. It's just a great pleasure to have fresh vegetables coming out of the garden.
And with the UGA Cooperative Extension Office right up the road, these plots serve as a testing ground for better growing practices. As for the biggest piece of advice for those wanting to start up a garden,
one of the biggest things they need to do is take a soil sample and let's see what's going on in what they're growing. They get a lot of their information from the internet, and probably about a fourth of it is true.
Reporting from Henry County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thanks so much. After the break, we head to Leary, Georgia and McLendon Acres, their special partnership with Wrangler Jeans and how they've managed to bounce back from what many called the storm of the century here in Georgia.
I'm Kirk Beecham, and I'm the Vice President for the Georgia FFA Association. Ever since I've been elected to state office, it's been a pretty big jump. I saw my Instagram follower account jump over 200 followers in 24 hours, and that was a pretty big deal. And it was really cool coming back home and just seeing everybody congratulate me and getting to be with all my friends as they embrace this moment with me. And ever since then, life has been amazing. I've pretty much been on cloud 9 ever since. If you go out somewhere and see a sea of blue jackets, such as the state convention in Macon or the national convention in Indianapolis, you see that sea of blue jackets. It's kind of overwhelming, and you see that leadership that has been developed from all of these students, because all of these students bring so many different leadership qualities to the table. And I believe that people see those different leadership qualities and how great of an organization this is, and we have earned that respect.
To learn more about the National FFA organization, log on to ffa.org. One of the many highlights of Georgia Farm Bureau's Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference is the variety of guest speakers who travel to Jekyll Island year in and year out to share their stories and speak on various topics. One of the speakers this year was Marshall Sewell, who spoke about the rising concern of mental health and well-being in agriculture. It's a subject near and dear to Marshall, who witnessed its effects firsthand.
My name is Marshall Sewell. I currently work for Seminus Vegetable Seed, which is now an entity of Bayer Crop Science, and I work as an area sales manager in Central and North Florida. I specialize in crops like watermelons, peppers, and tomatoes, but I grew up on my family's strawberry production operation in Plant City, Florida. It was a 5th generation operation. Since then, I've been very passionate about the ag industry, especially the fruit and vegetable sector, and so that's sort of what helped me segue into Seminus and working on the seed side. I was originally invited to come and participate in this conference because I was asked if I could come and speak on the topic of mental health and well-being in the ag industry. And it's a very tough subject, and I think that there's a lot of people that never really know exactly how to tackle it, but I myself have been through the struggle of mental health in the ag industry. I lost my dad to mental health related issues and him taking his own life, and so I knew the value of coming up here and trying to share something like that, and that's what Erin, the coordinator for the program, she and I spoke quite a bit, and she asked me if I'd be willing to do it. And as I mentioned in my speech earlier, it's an elephant in the room, the topic of mental health and well-being. It's something that needs to be discussed that I don't feel is getting the attention that it needs, and so that is, for the most part, why I wanted or felt compelled to come up here and speak on behalf of that. The title Somebody Cares mainly just came into play because at the very end of my message, I talked a lot about us taking a more proactive stance in terms of battling mental health, us checking in on one another and the people we care about, but then on the opposite end of the spectrum, folks actually being more willing and more open to opening up and communicate in the times that they're struggling. But my final closing point was that somebody cares piece, because at the end of the day, the biggest message that I want somebody to remember, if they are struggling, if they are going through a hardship or a difficult time, I just want them to always remember that whether they realize it or not, there is somebody who cares, and there is somebody who is willing to listen, who's willing to help, and ultimately that there's somebody there who cares enough that it's still worth living.
Well, behind me sits the image of Calhoun County farmer Adam McLendon, and there's a very good reason for that smile. For one, Hurricane Michael didn't blow away his spirit. Number two, McLendon Acres, his family's operation, is one of only 5 cotton suppliers selected nationwide by Wrangler Jeans as part of its Wrangler Rooted collection, a locally sourced line of denim designed to honor land stewardship and to bring a little more pride to cotton-producing states like Georgia. Why do you think a company of this magnitude, they only chose 5 states, 5 cotton growers, McLendon Farms is one of them? What was the reason that you think went behind their decision to use McLendon Farms as part of this project?
McLendon Acres has been, we've been working to showcase and promote sustainability and farming in general for a number of years. We work hard to promote the best management practices that go along with sustainability, and I would like to think that Wrangler just got our name and understood what we do to promote it and wanted to work with us time.
And talk a little bit about your operation and your, like I said, you guys have been doing this for a while, so talk a little bit about your operation that the people who aren't familiar with, educate them.
Yeah, so my dad started McLendon Acres in 1980, and just built the farm from there. He ended up taking over some land that my mom's father had farmed for many, many years once he retired, and I moved home from college 13 years ago now, and have been managing the farm ever since then, and it's just grown from there.
And talk a little bit about you mentioned sustainability, but This is a direction that a lot of companies are going in. They're looking towards more sustainable products. This is really nothing new for you guys, because you mentioned it earlier. You guys have been doing this pretty much since your early existence.
Right. I think, you know, farmers in general have sustainability, you know, at their core. They understand. Most farmers have been doing what they do for generations. A lot of farm, you know, are multi-generation family farms, as ours is. And we understand sustainability better than most. I mean, we know that the land is how we make our living and sustain our lifestyle. And we have the desire and the need to care for that land as much as we possibly can to continue the lifestyle and our way of life.
Some people may or may not know this, but you guys fell victim to a nasty little storm named Hurricane Michael. Now, obviously, the hurricane did not affect your relationship with Wrangler, because I think you had said they're using cotton from 2017. But during that time of Hurricane Michael, and you had this going on in the background, was it kind of a, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was just the most horrific, awe-inspiring, you know, storm that we've ever experienced in Southwest Georgia agriculture. It was just absolutely devastating to every aspect of you know, Southwest Georgia ag. I mean, you know, if you're a pecan farmer, cotton farmer, peanut farmer, you know, even corn farmers lost a lot of storage, lost a lot of grain elevators, things like that. Poultry farmers lost, you know, millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure and birds. It was just holistically devastating.
How bad did you guys get hit?
We were hit really hard. We lost 9 irrigation pivots. We lost a grain bin full of corn, hundreds and hundreds of pecan trees. We had close to 1,000 acres of cotton that was just zeroed out, no harvest at all on it. The quality of the peanuts, because of the rains after the storm, was just really, really poor quality. So yeah, we were hammered.
So final question for you again. You guys, one of 5 farms nationwide that are taking part in this. Are we going to see Adam maybe walking down the street once these things are released, kind of looking at the back of people's jeans, doing one of these double takes, kind of seeing what they're wearing?
Yeah, I want people to wear these Wrangler jeans. They're we worked hard to produce them, and we're excited to be a part of it. So I hope to see everybody wearing them.
Tell you what, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better person than Adam. And of course, folks, a reminder that if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor. Plenty of videos to choose from, 10 years worth. The archive goes all the way back to 2009. Kenny, take us to break, sir.
All right, Ray, thanks so much. Up next, celebrating 40 years of Georgia 4-H environmental education. Whether you're a past or present 4-H'er, you're going to want to stick around.
Years, 6 facilities, over 1 million participants impacted, infinite memories.
Well, we came 40 years ago, so we're a 40-year school. And from the beginning, our guiding idea was that students can learn outside of the classroom, sometimes better than they can learn in the classroom. It connects them with the learning in such a positive, strong way that we decided after the first year we were coming forever.
Whether you're a first-time school or a 40-year school, we thank you. thank you for allowing us to provide life-changing experiences for your students.
This experience is just transformative for them. They come here thinking one thing about themselves and leave a completely different person.
We've gotten to see students who have never been to the beach. I was at the beach yesterday with a student who said, "Miss Bennett, this is my first time on the beach."
They do things by themselves for the first time. They take this emotional and educational leap and they become more mature. And seeing a kid triumph out in the woods of Rock Eagle, that's the best memory for me.
In the Georgia 4-H Environmental Education Program, we are proud to complement school standards, bring learning to life, strengthen relationships among youth and adults, build connections to nature, and provide unparalleled experiences in the ultimate classroom without walls.
You know, this is second to none. I was speaking with the superintendent from my district this morning, and I said that this has probably been one of the greatest experiences I've had as a principal, and I would make sure that this continues to happen, but not only just with our 5th grade, seeing how we could do this possibly with 4th grade and lower grade levels as well, because I want everyone to be able to have this kind of experience.
The possibilities for your students are endless. Join us as we serve for another 40 years and reach another million.
Finally this week, we're going to take you on a little road trip. Destination, the Lone Star State.
From our friends at Texas Farm Bureau comes the story of Kyle and Tara Griffin. 3 years ago, they had an idea. With hard work, hope, and prayer, that idea resulted into blooming and bustling lavender farm.
So fasten your seatbelts. Here we go.
I don't think a lot of people realize that lavender is an alternate crop. It is edible, it's an herb, it's in the same family as mint. I think when people show up here and see all the different culinary things we do with lavender, they're kind of taken aback by that.
We are on 3 acres. We have about 1,800 lavender plants in 3 different varieties. We also have an on-site retail store where we handcraft the majority of our products. And then we have an on-site cafe too, where we serve breakfast and lunch, and we have a lot of lavender-inspired beverages, so pretty much everything lavender.
We were living in Dallas, so we were living in the city, and I wanted to move further out. We knew buying the property, we were going to do something. Through research, we landed on lavender.
I was looking for a crop that was drought tolerant, and I really like the fact that lavender is a perennial, and theoretically it can live for 12 to 15 years.
Lavender is a mounding plant, so each year it's going to kind of get a little bigger, get a little bigger. It's a woody herb, so they say the 3rd year is when you're going to see the most production in terms of flowers, and that's when it's really going to start popping off for you. We're going into our 2nd summer being open. We opened last summer. Last year was definitely a big learning curve. We're first-time farmers, first time doing any of this. That's the one hard part about farming, is if I learn something and I have to wait a whole year to put that into practice to see if that's actually going to work for me or not. You know, we're definitely like dive in head first, figure it out. We usually fail a few times. That is our best learning tool, is failure. The urban farm, the agritourism things are just something that's really big right now.
We just wanted kind of a quaint environment for people to come and experience lavender.
Wow, I have got purple overload now.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Farm Monitor.
But first, a quick reminder. For all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure you check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us here on the show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
As always, have a great week.